This is Tony Giocaci, head of school at Cincinnati Country Day. Today is Sunday, April the 19th. It is often said that home is where the heart is, and here on campus, things are doing quite well. Those pictures I just shared with you were taken in this last week, and the animals that we have, that we use for education and teaching our children, are being well cared for. The National Weather Service did determine that we had a tornado come through our campus about a week and a half ago. We did lose 12 trees, but our picture tree is alive and well. And so from your home here at 6905 Given to your home where you are at this moment, I am hoping that you are all well. I recently had the chance to speak with Mike Halperin, Country Day class of 1997. Mike is an ER doctor in the Bronx, and he recently had a great idea called Goggles for Docs that was featured in the New York Times. Mike is a real example of virtue in action. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us today.
Yeah, anytime. Happy to be here. Good memories from CCDS.
What is it like in an ER these days? You know, I mean, have they been in the Bronx converted entirely to COVID-19 treatment centers?
Yeah, you know, there is a bit of levity to this, but the running joke is what happened to all the appendicitis, what happened to all the, you know, the car accidents, the bread and butter emergency medicine is still there, but the volume of non-COVID related complaints is drastically down. So it does at times feel like you're pretty much almost primarily a COVID unit, so to speak.
Tell us a little bit about how that idea came to you and how the Goggles initiative really took off.
So the Goggles basically was an idea to crowdsource it. How do we get eye protection without needing a vendor, so to speak? Yep. You know, and I actually initially reached out to a bunch of buddies from Country Day because the initial thought was sort of, whether it's like squash goggles or anything really that would keep airborne particulates out of someone's eyes. And then I ended up reaching out to my aunt and uncle out in Steamboat, Colorado, and shot them sort of a request for a few pairs of old ski goggles. And then that request sort of went out to a bunch of their buddies in town, and just sort of serendipitously ended up in the lap of a few people who really made the logistics of this little project take off pretty remarkably. It's done wonders, not just on the sort of personal protective eyewear side of things, but it's also done wonders as far as sort of morale and psyche. And I think it's just it's pretty neat how amazing these humans are.
Do you have any idea how many ski goggles have been collected to date?
It looks like about 32,000 and counting.
Congratulations and thank you so much for everything you're doing, Mike. With campus closed, some of our events have been moved to a virtual setting. I recently caught up with Angela Barber-Joyner, our Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, about a book discussion that she'll be leading in May. our campus is closed, but Angela, you're going to be leading us in a book club, an event that we're going to be doing virtually. Can you just give us a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, so we're going to be having a books and conversation, and it will be on Zoom. We're all getting a little bit more comfortable with Zoom video conferencing, and the name of the book is Just Mercy, a great book by well-renowned author Brian Stevenson. And the book really dives into equity, diversity, and inclusion. It talks about equity and redemption. Justice is the story of justice and redemption. And we will be talking a lot about that book from 6:30 to 7:30 on Zoom. And feel free to RSVP on the link, and we will be meeting there to talk about some themes in the book.
Great. Now, I know a lot of times people, when they're joining a book club, they want to know, should I read the book? Can I listen to it audio? Can I get it on Audible? Are all of those acceptable by you?
Yes, Tony, that would be great. I've actually listened to the book and read the book. So any one of those avenues or any of those ways that you would like to read the book, it will be great because the discussion will be based on the meat of the book.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for everything you're doing for Country Day and for leading us in our books and conversations. Again, on what was the date?
May 12th. Tuesday, May 12th.
From 6:30 to 7:30, and we'd like people to RSVP, right? So that we can make sure that they get the Zoom link and the password. Absolutely. And everybody can join. Is that right?
Yes, and we want to make sure we have room enough for everyone.
Good point. Good point. With more time on our hands these days, many of us are learning new skills. Recently, I asked Rob Zimmerman, trustee, father, and alumnus, to teach me the Country Day pen flip. And I wanted just to speak with you, Rob. Thanks for joining today about the Country Day pen flip.
Okay, it's really quite simple. All one has to do, or how I do it, is to hold it in my hand with 3 fingers, resting on top of my middle finger, squeeze between my index finger and my thumb. And then the action is to pull back with my index finger and down.
Oh, got it.
Push up slightly with my middle finger on which the pen rests and let go like that.
And it's a half rotation?
It can be either. It can be a half rotation or it can be a full rotation.
So the full rotation is what you call the double?
Correct.
Got it.
And that, in some respects, is easier with a pen like this cheap Bic pen, which has not perfect weight. It may be easier to throw it and then catch it on that end that you threw it from. And if you get really cocky, you can do, like dives, many of them in a row. But the action itself is quite simple. It's just that, catching it from the same place you threw it. But like anything, it requires tons and tons and tons of practice. And for me, it literally took years of practice, which is no criticism at all of my teachers at Country Day, but there were a lot of classes where I sat there doing this and honed my skills. And then being a lawyer has been really good for my opportunity for practice. So
all 3 of those conversations can be seen in their entirety on the Country Day Connected page on the school's website. Please also use hashtag CountryDayConnected to keep posting pictures and videos of you at home. Tomorrow is Bring Your Pet to School Day. School isn't open, so show us pictures of your pets, or maybe you have a stuffed animal that would work. Tomorrow, our 4th week of remote learning begins. During these first few weeks, I've been speaking with parents asking, how can the school help you? And time again, parents have been asking, how can we help the school? And I am so grateful for those sentiments. I can think of 3 ways. First, reaching out and supporting initiatives such as Mike Halperin's Goggles for Docs, or other ways that you can help people during this COVID-19 outbreak. Second, expressions of gratitude to our teachers and staff members. They're working very hard, and a little thank you goes a long, long way. Third, and perhaps most important, however, is thinking about your home and creating a safe and secure and loving environment that is good for learning for our students. And so, week 4 of Country Day Connected begins. We stand together. Here we go.